Good evening and welcome to a Sans charity live stream brought to you by the Midnight Raven. So I'm just going to share this out and then we're going to get to the main part of this live stream. Share this out. So 1 second. Just a sec. So, good evening. I hope you are all having a wonderful day. And today we're going to be raising money for the Sans charity, hopefully, which is a good cause. And I'm going to tell you why, and we're going to hang out and see if we can raise as much money as possible for a good cause. So let me just run that so I can check. So let me see, everything is running smoothly. So I have everything sorted. So good evening. We'll just wait to see if anyone comes. And then I'm going to explain what the Sans charity is. I'm going to show you some stuff on the screen and hopefully we can raise money for a awesome charity. Here's the t-shirt, the Sans charity. And then I don't know if you can see, but on the back it says, I'm a supporter of the Sans charity. If people want to see pictures of that, you can check out Instagram as well. And my Facebook fundraiser page link is in the comments, as well as the link to the PayPal and the donation for Facebook if you wish to donate to the cause. I'm walking 100K for June for the Sans Stillbirth and Neonatal charity. I'm going to show you some information about the charity. I'm going to share with you as much as I possibly can about the charity, about their work. And this is what I'm here for. The Sans 100K charity walk. Today I have already done a walk of about 9 miles. You can see it. It's the previous video to this live stream. We get to see some pigs in it. We get to go for a walk. It's a really beautiful live stream, really beautiful walk that you can see after this live stream. I did get sunburnt. But yeah, this is what we are here for, the Sans charity walk, which is for the whole of June up until the 31st. I am raising awareness for all of the angels lost. So hopefully you can join me this evening and participate and share your experiences, comment in the chat. I myself haven't lost a child before, but I can sympathize with parents on how hard it must be, because if I lost my children, it would be breaking. So I can totally feel for the parents that losing a child, whether it's prematurely, neonatal, after they've been born, is a devastating thing that you don't recover from. It always is in here, and it's always in here, what you could have done, what you could have changed. And sometimes with things like infant cot death, there is nothing you could have done. As much as you'd like to spend the rest of your life beating yourself up about it, sometimes there is nothing you can do. And you have to try and grieve and have to try and push through things. So this is what we're raising money for. Like I said, the link to the fundraiser page is in the description as well as in the chat if you'd like to donate, and same with the PayPal. If you're unsure of donating by Facebook Pay, you can, good evening Gemma, you can donate to PayPal and I can send it to Sans on your behalf. So I have my t-shirt which they sent me, which is the Sans charity. It's not very easy to show you the back, but it says, I'm supporting babies' lives. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share with you some information about the Sans charity. And I'm going to show you on screen what they do, what their work is, and how the money that you send benefits the charity, and how every single penny helps, whether it's £1 or £100. It's all the donations that help the charities like this, because they don't generally get funding. So it's people like you, people like me, that can help these charities. So I'm going to share with you the story of SANS, so that you can get a better understanding, because not everybody has lost a child before, and not everybody knows about this charity. So let me just change the screen so I can show you what I mean. Oh, I've got to share screen. Hang on, 2 secs. You have to excuse the ducks. They are making their own. So here we go. So this is what I wanted to share with you. So we'll do it like this. So the SANS charity, this is their strategy. So their mission, vision and values as one organisation remaining constant and guided in their work. We work to reduce the number of babies dying and to improve care and support for anyone affected by the death of an infant. So they have a 3-year plan, or they did, until obviously COVID happened, which kind of shaped things up within the charity, because last year it was harder to do walks because obviously you were in quarantine, basically. And with the COVID situation lifting, I've been able to go out and actually do my walks today, which is perfect. I've actually been able to go out and do my walk today, and that video is already up. So moving on down, the vision and the purpose of SANS. So a world where fewer babies dying. When a baby dies, anyone affected receives the best possible care that they need for as long as they need. Because losing a child, you don't just get over it overnight. Sometimes it can stay with you forever. You can have multiple losses, which is unfortunate. That kind of thing does happen. If you've had a miscarriage before, you are more likely to have another one. Unfortunately, that is a very true statistic. But this charity is there to help you. So the SANS purpose is to support anyone affected by the death of a child, to work in partnership with healthcare professionals to ensure that the bereaved parents and their families receive the best possible care, and to promote improvements in practices and research to help the number of babies who die. So the idea is to take the money and fund it into research so we can get a better understanding of what causes cot death, infant death, neonatal death, utero death, what causes miscarriages, and so we can research into what causes them so we can try and alleviate the issues. That way we'll have less losses. So everything we do, the service is run by the money they raise. So they have 3 main aims. So they're passionate about the charity as much as I am. So the commitments for 2020, which was, with COVID, a really bad year, mind you. Couldn't have asked for a worse year. Obviously, couldn't walk, couldn't do fundraisers. So the charity obviously didn't have as much money poured into it last year. So the commitment for 2020 or 2021 was to reduce the number of babies dying by at least 20%. Obviously, with COVID, things probably were more shook around than the 20%, which is unfortunate. Their also commitment is to have a bereavement lead in every trust or health board, or at least one bereaved suit in every hospital. So they're asking to have a suite on the hospital that is dedicated to mothers, that when they go to hospital and they lose their child within the hospital, The idea is not to put them on a ward where women have had babies, because the distress of losing a baby and then hearing the cry of a baby that survived can be absolutely devastating to a mum. So the idea is to have a separate suite for mothers that have lost their children, and then separate them from the mothers that have had children, so that they can start to bereave without the sound of babies crying, because a baby crying is so precious to a new mum. It's the first thing you hear when a baby's born, and obviously if you've had a stillbirth or something like that, you're not going to have heard your baby cry necessarily, and to hear a baby cry, it kicks in a mother's instinct from the minute a baby is born. So the idea is to have a separate suite to give that mother a chance to start bereaving. They also want to implement a national bereavement care pathway to make sure that every parent receives excellent care. So they want to ensure that every parent, no matter how you've lost your child, is all treated exactly the same, so that the care is unanimous going right the way through for each parent individually, whether you've lost a child by neonatal, whether it's by SIDS, whether it's by another means, to make sure that everybody gets the same care, whether your baby died before it was born or during its birth, and the same if you had a SIDS death or a cot death after it was born. So it's to try and make sure that all the parents, whether it's the mum or the dad, get exactly the same care. So they also want to ensure that the high quality care is carried out in partnership with the parents after the baby's death. So sometimes you can go into hospital with troubles before the baby dies, and the idea is to make sure that no matter, like I said, how your baby dies, the parents receive the best quality care possible, and that goes for the mum and the dad. And also the supporting family that they hopefully have around them, grandparents, brothers, sisters, or possibly other siblings. They also want to raise the awareness of the issues surrounding stillbirth and neonatal death, and to reduce the taboo associated with these deaths. So I myself have 3 children and have never had a miscarriage or a stillbirth or a cot death or anything like that. And they're saying that they want to raise the awareness because things like miscarriage and stillbirths are still quite a taboo subject. When you sit around, you're not talking about this kind of thing with just people. It's not something that you walk to the supermarket and you start talking about. It's not that kind of conversation that you just bring up. But it is an important topic, though, to speak about, because the way you bereave and heal is by talking about certain things, whether it's a funeral or like an accident or something. You have to talk through it. So these parents get the chance to talk to somebody, lay their feelings out on the table, express their emotions. Yes, they might beat themselves up, and it sometimes feels good to say that it was your fault, but the idea is to tell these parents that they were good parents, they looked well after their child, the pregnant lady did everything she could, and sometimes things just happen. They're uncontrollable and they're just horrendous to a parent that's been longing for a child. So I can feel their pain. So these are the chances that we get to talk about stuff like this. So they also want to ensure that every bereaved parent receives a free memory box. So a memory box is where you are able to put everything you've had from that child up to when your child passes. So that could be, obviously, if you had a miscarriage, you may have had a scan or multiple scans, depending on how through your term you were. If you had a baby at the hospital and then the baby passed away, you would have his little wristband. He might have had a toe prick. He might have had he might have lived a couple of weeks or a couple of months. Some kids don't just die straight away. Some kids will fall ill due to complications and then pass away. So you may have mementos from being pregnant right up until giving birth. And they give you this little free memory box, and it's to keep all your memories in, your sonograms, your pictures, your little hospital bands, depending on how old your child was through to its trimester, will depend on what items you have with you. So moving down, so their work, SANS exists to support everyone affected by the death of a baby to improve the bereavement care received by parents. They also want to promote research to reduce the numbers of babies dying, and everything they do, the service they run, and the public health messages we promote, and the way we raise money is focused around these aims that I've just said. So SANS exists because they want to help bereaved parents and find reasons for the bereavement, why these babies passed away, what happened, and how these things can maybe be stopped or be researched more. So SANS is a UK charity that works alongside the country to support anyone affected by the death of a baby. That's whether it's a miscarriage, a stillbirth, a neonatal death, a SIDS death, to improve the care that they receive and to reduce the number of babies that die by using their research, and they're organising to create awareness to parents. Because, like it said before, things like these are not just talked about down your local pub. If you see my meaning, these things aren't talked about very often. Okay, so supporting the parents, which is the main purpose of SANS. So when a baby dies, your life falls apart. I felt so alone and isolated and just didn't know what to do or where to turn. In these very early days, SANS was invaluable, and I am the reason I am still here today. And that was from a mother that was helped by SANS. So you can hear her words and feel her pain by reading them. They're very powerful words from a mother that lost a child, and to have SANS there to support her, to comfort her, to show that she did everything she could. So SANS are dedicated to providing emotional support. So that's things like therapy groups, and that kind of thing. And that's right from the early hours of a baby's death, right through to weeks, months, and it can be years after your baby has passed as well. They don't just send you into a therapy session the day your baby dies and then kick you to the curb. If you need months of therapy, months of support, or even years of support and therapy, they are there every step of the way. And I'm going to show you what else they do in a second. So the bereavement service, they have a helpline, they have an online community, they also have a SANS group, and they have a bereavement support book. So, things you need to know. So, SANS support anyone affected by the death of a baby. Some of the services they offer include a free national helpline, which if you look to your left or right, depending on what you're looking at the screen, the SANS helpline is 0808 164 3332. They also have a website, which is helpline@sans.org.uk. So they have a national helpline. They have a bereavement support app for parents and carers and health professionals. They have a UK network of support groups with trained befrienders to connect families to people that can help them. and they offer a wide range of support resources that are also available online and in print. So SANS has a lot going on, whether you can get to a therapy session, whether you just want some advice online and you don't necessarily want to sit in a room and talk to somebody. So the next part is the SANS group. So one woman said she found herself on the phone to a woman whose baby, like mine, had died. Tell me about your baby, she said, and I poured my heart out to a perfect stranger with whom I felt an instant connection. So the lady on the phone had also lost a baby, and the lady on the other side of the phone had lost a baby, and they found an instant connection, and they were able to talk and share their experiences, their concerns, and share their pain through the phone, which is such a lifeline sometimes. If you've woken up one morning, you're having a bad day, there is a helpline, there is a website, there are people you can talk to. There is help out there for you. Let me just sort this out. So they also, like I said, they have a helpline that provides a safe, confidential place for anyone who's been affected by the death of a baby. So all their chats on the phone are all confidential. Nothing is ever released. If you don't want your partner to know, things can be kept confidential. If you're having a really hard time and that kind of thing, you can feel the need to talk to somebody, no matter, I believe it's 24/7. I'm not sure about that, but let me just check something. Sorry, 2 seconds. So here we go. So, like I said, they have a website, they have a group, they have a support network. They also have a bereavement support book. So the bereavement support book. So we're so sorry that your baby has died, or that you have been told to expect they may die soon. Few examples can compare to the trauma and pain of losing a baby. SANS is available to provide support as long as you need it, and to guide you through these difficult times. So to guide you through these difficult times, they have put a book together called the Bereavement SANS Support Book. It says you may have found out that your baby has already died and you can be waiting to give birth to them, or perhaps your baby has died due to unexpected circumstances or a short stay in neonatal care. You can also chosen to have end your pregnancy, which is a choice that no parent wishes to ever make. But whatever the circumstances, we recognize that this is an extremely sad and distressing time, and that we hope the information in this book can help you both now, once you've suffered the loss of a baby, and in the future if you need something to refer to. So you don't need to read the book in order. Each section is color coded, so you may find this relevant to you depending on what you need at the time. So the book is broken down into sections to help the parents. So you have the giving birth to your baby, the information and support for your partners, because obviously the mother has lost the baby and it was growing inside her, but the dad is still going through emotional turmoil, the same as the mum. As much as a husband would like to sympathize with his partner, to lose a baby that grows inside you is something that you never want to experience. The other section is the information and support for relatives and your friends. Obviously, when you lose a baby, the entire family, whether you have other siblings, brothers and sisters, grandparents, parents, it gives you gives you advice. Then you have supporting children. So if you have other children that have gone full term, this gives you support for your children. You have physical and emotional challenges. So this could be bereavement pain. This could be blaming yourself. You have remembering your baby, which is the most important thing for a bereaved parent, is to remember that although the baby didn't gain life, or maybe it didn't pass away, that that baby is not forgotten. You have the days, weeks, and months ahead. So yes, the road ahead doesn't look bright right now, but you have to see the light at the end of the tunnel. And it is there. At the minute, it's just clouded over, but it is there. Then you have the returning to work. So after suffering a loss of a baby, unfortunately, in this day and age, bills have to be paid, and eventually you will possibly return to work. So this is a section helping you. Then you have thinking about having another baby. So some parents may never have another baby. Once they have suffered the loss of one child, that may be enough to say that they can't cope with the fact that they may lose another one, which is a terrible thing, to think that maybe you may never have another child, or maybe you will continue to have stillbirths or miscarriages, and that can break a couple. Next, saying goodbye to your baby. So as much as it pains you, if you've had a stillbirth or a miscarriage, you do get a memory box, so you can put all the baby's memories in that. Obviously you will possibly have a burial depending on how old your child was, or how far gone you were. But saying goodbye to your baby doesn't necessarily mean just forgetting the baby existed and just moving on to other things. You have to try and find a way of coping, which isn't as easy as it sounds. But you have to find that strength and that courage to see that there can be a future. It doesn't seem that right now. And the main thing as a couple is to try and bereave together, and come out the other side. And then the next section is understanding why your baby died. So this is a very grey area, and a big wide spectrum. There can be many reasons for a loss of a baby, whether it's due to a miscarriage, or whether the baby wasn't strong enough. Sometimes if you have twins, one twin is stronger than the other. Sometimes it can just be SIDS, which there has been many researchers done into infant cot death, but there is still no explanation for why it happens, which is a horrendous thing to think, that there is no reason. The book comes in a ton of languages. So you can get it in Arabic, you can get it in Bengal, you can get it in Chinese and Polish, Portuguese, Punjabi, Urdu. So it comes in a variety of languages, and the bereavement book is free. So for people that tirelessly fundraise for the charity, like myself, which I'm now doing, the books can be given to the parents for free. And that's one less thing they have to worry about. So this book goes through different sections and gives parents help and advice and support. You may not feel that you want to talk to a person. So having this book by your side of your bed, or tucked away in a drawer if you need to read something or just refer to it, it can help, just having that by the wayside. If you're having a really low day and you're not sure, you can read this book and you may find the answers in there. Not everybody feels comfortable talking to another person, whether it's a therapist or a health professional. Some people like to bereave internally, and that means they don't necessarily want to talk about the situation or share their feelings, share their emotions. So they internalize everything. And if they have this book just to go look at, just by themselves, they can take 5 minutes. That can make all the difference to a parent, where they're not feeling like they're pressured to share their emotions and talk. Because obviously at this really important time, they have so much going on, and so much is running through their minds. They maybe not want to talk about it. So moving on. So sadly, the death of a baby is not rare. Every day in the UK, around 14 babies die before, during, or soon after birth. This means nearly 2 families a day are faced with the devastation and the loss of a baby. The good news, and there is good news, is that the number of babies dying has fallen, and there were fewer than 345 baby deaths in 2018 compared to 2017. So the number is dropping. Is it enough? Of course it's not enough. In an ideal, perfect world, we would love it if no babies died and there were no problems. But unfortunately, we do not live in a perfect world, and unfortunately, these kind of situations do happen. They do occur, and that can be one of the hardest and most trying situations that there is. So this is a significant step forward, with SANS have played a crucial role to reduce the number of babies' deaths, making this a priority issue for governments and healthcare officials so they can make the change they are now starting to have an effect. However, there is room for complacency. Currently, far too many babies are dying, and in most cases, we still do not know the reasons why, like infant cot death. So understanding why babies die is vital to saving the lives of other babies. SANS work with the parents, world-leading researchers, and they try to research why things happen in utero, why things happen once a baby's born, what we can do, how we can rectify this thing. Is there something we could have done? So at SANS, the lives of the babies who die can never be reduced to a statistic. Fewer babies are dying in the UK than ever before, but there is still much more that we can do. So SANS is here for everyone left shattered by the death of a baby, whether that's the parent, the husband, the family, the siblings, the grandparents, whoever needs the support. SANS is here for anyone that is affected by the death of a baby. And the idea is to help with the experience and to reduce the thousands of people whose lives are changed forever by an infant death. So, obviously, there are things that everybody can do. Currently, like I said, I am walking 100k for June. I have already completed 9 miles this morning. I did a walk and the stream is already up. If you want to see that video, it's the one before this live stream. So if you want to check that out, please feel free to. You can see what I did today in my walk. You can see that I got highly sunburned, like proper sunburn. My arms, I don't know if you can tell, are burnt. Look at that, pasty white at the top. So we believe research into babies' lives can improve care and support for bereaved parents. Investment in research is vital to increase the knowledge, to improve the care, and to maintain the political will to reduce the prenatal mortality rate. So in 2018, in the UK, around 5,000 babies were stillborn or died within the first 4 weeks of life. And that is a horrendous number. This makes up 75% of deaths of children under the age of 16. So there were 5,000 babies that died within 4 weeks of their lives. That is crushing to any parent. 5,000 babies. I cannot imagine what a parent goes through with the loss of a child. But we still do not fully understand why many babies die or what more could be done to prevent the deaths. For as many as 1 in 4 babies, the death is unknown. So not every baby, when it dies, will have something that jumps out at you as the reason. With infant cot death, there is no reason. There is no explanation. It just happens. Maybe there are things that we can do as ourselves as a pregnant woman. There is things that can help while you're pregnant. You can take your folic acid, which helps, and you take that as soon as you find out you're pregnant, or some women actually take it before they're pregnant. Things that can also help while you are pregnant is to not smoke, to not drink, to try and not overexert yourself. That can also help. To try and not do any strenuous activities, to not take drugs, to try and eat healthily, to try and eat the right foods. But all of this you can do perfectly and you can still lose a child. As heartbreaking as that sounds, you can do everything you possibly can and still lose a child. So a parent will obviously beat themselves up thinking they could have done more. What did they do wrong? And sometimes the situation, there is nothing you could have done. There is no reason for it happening. Unfortunately, it's happened. So we also know that the care and support for family when a baby dies is consistent, and there are many unanswered questions, which is why SANS is trying to answer these questions, to put the time and research in to try and answer these questions. When a baby dies, was there a reason? What was the cause? What could be avoided? What could we have changed? Is there a medical procedure we could have done? Is there more research needed in a particular field of infant death? Is there more we need to research, and that kind of thing? So their goals, they're committed to save lives by improving maternity and neonatal care. So this is making sure that from the minute you find out you're pregnant, you go to all your scans, you go to all your doctor's checkups, you try and eat properly, you try and exercise well, you try and help yourself as much as possible to stop these kind of things happening before they happen. They're also trying to understand why babies die. And like I've said before in this live stream, many a times there is no reason. Sometimes there are reasons, like if you have twins, you will sometimes find that one twin is always stronger than the other. And sometimes, unfortunately, one twin will survive and another twin will not. The thing is, when you have twins, the mother's nutrients and stuff are split between 2 babies, and sometimes you will find one baby is more greedy than the other, and it happens, and unfortunately you will lose one twin, and obviously one twin will survive and you'll lose one twin. Other times you can have a perfectly healthy baby and a perfectly healthy pregnancy right up until the end, and then unfortunately due to SIDS or infant cot death, or for whatever reason the baby passes. Like I've said before, you can do as much as you possibly can to secure your baby, and things unfortunately can still occur. So their other goals are to provide bereavement care and support to everyone. That means the entire family, because it's not just the parents that are going through this loss. You have other siblings like brothers and sisters that can also suffer with the mental issues that come with the loss of a baby. So working with professionals. So one of our core aims is to improve the quality of care offered during pregnancy and in the event of a baby's death. So we work in partnership with health professionals and others to minimize the risks of stillbirth and to ensure the families of those of the babies that die receive the best possible care. So Here is a thing from one of the mothers. It says, "I will always remember the midwife who looked after us throughout the labor of our beautiful son who was born dead. She managed to make a terrible event into something that was very precious. She delivered him with such love and care, with one exception. Everyone who saw during that awful time was kind and supportive, and remembering their kindness has kept us going through the darkest times." It's hard for the professionals as well, because obviously they deal with this on a daily basis, but it doesn't make it any easier to talk to parents that have lost their children and to see the look on their faces and the heartbreak they're going through. It's a hard profession to be in. And charities like this try and take the burden of the parents onto themselves, which can be a real trying thing for any health professional dealing with the death of a baby. So the death of a baby during pregnancy, birth, or afterwards a major bereavement. The care that the parents receive at this time can make a huge impact on their long-term well-being, whether that's spiritual, emotional, their physical well-being. Good care can't remove the pain that the parents feel, but it can try and lessen the burden. It can try and turn the negative into a positive, because poor and insensitive care can make things worse, both immediately and down the line if you didn't receive the necessary information, the necessary care, the necessary support. You can find it a lot harder down the road to bounce back from that kind of thing. So to enable the professionals working in the area, we provide clear guidelines on the principles of bereavement care, including the 5 key ways for improving care. They have a wealth of tools. Like I said, they have the website, they have the hotline, they have people you can talk to, they have therapists. So they offer extensive training for all of their staff who obviously dealing with this kind of thing. So below you will find information on how we work with other charities. So obviously this kind of thing you can't do alone. So you have the Baby Loss Awareness, you have Pregnancy and Baby Charity Network, you have the Maternity Bereavement Experience Measure, you have the National Bereavement Care Pathway, and you have One Voice. So these are offer other charities that give you bereavement support, emotional support, information, and advice should you need to go to some other charity to seek the advice maybe that SANS isn't giving you. But it can work to your advantage to talk to different people from different charities, because we are all trying to do one goal, and that is to help the number of infant deaths and to lower the rate. So obviously, they have support. So you have the helpline, as I've said, you have the bereavement support app, you have the bereavement support book, which I showed you earlier. There are local support groups, you have an online community, and then you receive a memory box, and then there's bereavement in the workplace. So let's have a look at the memory box that we were talking about. So this is the memory box. So the memory box you get is if you so at SANS, we believe the parents facing the death of a baby or in pregnancy should be treated with compassion, patience, and understanding. Expecting families who are not able to bring a living child home with them will experience different feelings and emotions. They develop a new and different relationship with the loss of their baby. When a baby dies, there will be less visible evidence of the time with the parents and loved ones. So memory boxes are an important way that bereaved parents can continue to share their journey and keep it as a special memento that they can keep through their pregnancies, whether they have one or many. So the SANS boxes are a fundamental tool for professionals to deliver good bereavement care and to help families. So this is to establish a positive connection with the loss of a baby but utilizes the item inside to record details, to produce physical evidence that the baby lived, and to start forging a parental bond that will endure after saying goodbye. So, memory boxes are an evidence-based platform for midwives to start conversations and to begin memory-making activities with parents. An initial contact with SANS or an organization which can help the parents at this stage after a loss. A safe and reassuring space for parents to build their own memories around the bond of their baby. So we have included the following memory making materials because parents have told us that they find these help connect and get to grips basically with the loss of their babies during these precious moments together. So the memory box contains a hand and footprint kit. So depending on how old your child is, even if the child is as less as like 22 weeks, it is still a somewhat formed child. So you can do a handprint or a footprint possibly. If your child is less than around 22 weeks, I don't think that is possible. I wouldn't rule it out, but the more older the baby is when it passes, the more likely you are to get a handprint or a footprint. Obviously, if you have a miscarriage, depending on how far you were along, you may not get a hand or a footprint, but you could always use the hand of a footprint for another child. Next, you get baby's detail book. So this could be baby's details, where if you did get some scanned pictures, if you did have a due date, if you did have a name picked out, you can put stuff like that in there. You can put feelings and thoughts and memories and that kind of thing. You get a certificate of baby pair of bears. A certificate of birth pair of bears. Oh. So these two little bears here you get. So whether you have one child or two child, you get a certificate of birth bear. So that's kind of a symbolism because when most kids are born, they have a baby bear. Most kids, their first toy they ever have, they're usually given a cuddly toy of a bear. Not necessarily every child, but most children, their first toy will be a bear. Then you get a heart in their hand. So a heart in their hand. Then you get a soft white blanket. So this is like a memory blanket. If you're having really tough times, you're having a really sad day, you can sit with that blanket and think and look back on the recent events. And then you get an information and SANS bereavement support app. And you get the information there. So you get the memory box, which is a permanent and personal reminder of the baby they could not bring home and can help integrate parents' experiences into their family history and grow around their grief as they move on. So, as I said, you get a bereavement box for the parents. Obviously, you have the app, which can give you advice. You have, like I said, local groups where you can meet and talk to other parents. You have the online community where you can post questions, post advice. You get the memory box, which you can take home with you if you're a bereaved parent. And then you've got bereavement in the workplace as well. So that is the information to help you go back to work when you've lost a child. So understanding why your baby died. So many things are done and research is done when a baby dies. Obviously, you can have a post-mortem done, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you'll have the questions that the answers to the questions you seek. Obviously, they do investigate a baby when it dies. It will have a post-mortem. There will be looks into the circumstances behind the birth, whether there was an issue post-pregnancy, before pregnancy that could be avoided. Obviously, you've got Baby Loss Awareness Week as well. Obviously, Baby Loss Awareness Week is the 9th to the 15th of October, and that was last year, but I'm not sure of the date this year. But obviously, you can commemorate your baby's lives, you can raise awareness, and you can drive change by supporting things like SANS, because every little helps. Not quoting Tesco's there, but you get my point. So Baby Loss Awareness Week, I believe, is in October every year. Obviously, SANS, I'm doing the charity walk for June to help raise awareness and to help bereaved parents out there cope with the loss of a child, which breaks my heart to think that this kind of thing happens. And it is a shame. It is a real shame. So stories that you can share and raise awareness. So there are different stories, and people post their memories. So it says subject or by a family name, so written about or written by. So this one says, my beautiful daughter Hannah, I woke up on the 24th of April 2019 just like a normal morning. It was 6:30 a.m. and I turned 36 weeks on this day and remembered phoning my mum to tell her I would be getting the sweep that day. I also mentioned how much Hannah was moving that morning, and then I said goodbye to her and carried on with my morning. I then said goodbye and carried on with my morning, getting my kids ready for school, and I felt a gush. It was around 7 a.m. and I went to the bathroom to check to see what the red spot of blood was. I quickly grabbed my phone and rang the hospital explaining, and she told me to change the pad, pack a bag, and head up. So I did. As I changed the pad, I started pouring out with blood, and I panicked. I got to the hospital as quick as I could, and when I arrived, I waited too long in the waiting room to be seen. They took me into a room to check her heartbeat, and the midwife kept losing the heartbeat. She tried for 20 minutes or so during this time, and people are coming in to put catheters in before they decided to scan. Once they took me to the scanning room, we were looking at the screen, and we could only just see a flicker of a heartbeat, but it was slow. And at this point, they told me I was being put to sleep for emergency C-section. Hannah was born at 9:08, and when I awoke, after 2 hours later, they told me how sick my baby was and that her brain had little to no activity. I didn't want to believe this, so I tried my hardest to stay hopeful. On the morning of the 25th, Hannah's consultant came in to tell me there was nothing more that could be done for Hannah and that she would die. My heart was broken into a million pieces and I felt numb. This couldn't be real. We gathered the family together and spent many hours with Hannah that day before they switched off her machines. She sadly but peacefully passed away at 15:54 on the 25th of April 2019 in my arms. I miss my baby girl so much and I wish I can understand why this happened to me, but sometimes I will never, but maybe it's something I will never have an answer to. Love you forever, Hannah. So that is the kind of support that SANS can give you with a story like that, where she seemed to have a perfectly healthy baby. She was going in that morning for a sweep to have a natural birth. And then within the space of a couple of hours, she started bleeding. She was rushed to hospital. She delivered what she thought was a healthy baby. And then things just deteriorated. And obviously, she lost her baby. So pregnancy is a wonderful thing, but it's amazing how quickly a situation can change from being perfectly fine 1 minute to a serious emergency C-section the next. I myself have had 3 somewhat normal deliveries. I wouldn't say perfect. There is no such thing as the perfect birth. mind you. Every birth or every pregnancy will have its ups and downs, and believe me. So you can go on here and you can give your story. There are many stories that you can share, as little or as much as you like. And this is to help parents to read these stories and realize that in the situation they had, they're not alone. They're not the only parent that has lost a child, and unfortunately, it is a more common thing than people would like to talk about. Obviously, the loss of a baby can never be replaced. So on here, you can put your own story. So you have written by or written about, and you can go for mums, dads, brothers and sisters, or other family members. So you can look at stories written from a mum's perspective. You can read stories written by a dad's perspective, brothers and sisters, and that kind of thing. So if you're looking for a story that is similar to your own, you can look into more specific sections on each of the situations, and you can read a more specific story so that you can read these stories to know that you're not alone. So there is the Sands Garden Day. So this obviously is a virtual event for 2021. So Sands Virtual Garden Day, everyone is welcome to join us in remembering our beloved babies through our virtual Sands Garden Day. So this happens on Saturday, the 5th of June at 2 p.m. We invite you to join Sands and its supporters once more. So this is obviously taking place in your gardens. Usually it would happen in real life, but obviously with COVID, this can't happen. So each year, Sands hosts a memorial service for all the babies, helping families and individuals to find hope. This year, as we reflect on our shared strengths and natures and resilience, is our theme. Join us for an online event involving music, reading, and photos on the theme of nature and how it can help in the journey of loss, of living with loss. So this is on June the 5th at 2 p.m. You can look at the live event by going to the Sands Facebook page or the Sands YouTube channel. So if you have recently lost a baby, or you just want to show your condolences. So we hope that through this, everyone will feel connected, because obviously with COVID this year, we've been a bit disconnected, and this is a way to try and bring things back into some kind of order. This year for Sam's Garden, you might choose to dedicate a flower to the memory of a beloved loss. You might decide to dedicate a flower to the memory of a lost or a bereaved child. So choosing a flower from the virtual garden and leaving a message to remember them. So you go to their virtual garden, you pick a flower, and you can leave a dedicated message, just like leaving a virtual footprint, because obviously you can't do it in real life at the moment. So you can download the audio service that will be for the Remembrance event, which, like I said, is on the, well, going back up, the 5th of June at 2 p.m. And then there are many ways that you can get involved in yourself. You can walk 100K in June, like myself. You can tell your friends, your family, you can fundraise at home. You can hold a quiz, you can hold a bake day. I'm obviously doing a walk. There are many ways that you can help. You can leave a gift in your will. You can use gift aid when you donate. You can donate your birthday money. You can go around with collection envelopes. There's the Sands Lottery. You can make a regular donation. So there are many ways that you can help raise awareness And then obviously there are more in-depth things that you can look at, and that is the studies, research and support, all the different care and time and effort that goes into the charity. And as I've said before, the charity itself doesn't receive a lot of outside funding. So every donation that they receive really does help the charity. So it's important for the charity to receive donations, to make sure that charities like this do get the funding they need. So there's that. Let me just put the let me just do something. Let me just share this out to try and raise some awareness. Sorry, I've gone quiet. It was just sharing it out. So, like I said, the SANS charity is there to help parents, and it's SANS Awareness Month. When a baby dies, their memory lives on. Their lives are always there in the hearts and minds of their parents, family, and friends who always love them and never forget them. It's important for the parents who are pregnant after a loss. The right care and support is always there. Assessing the best model of care and having healthcare staff to support their journey can truly make a difference. The idea is to join the Always There campaign to help SANS to always be there for parents of bereaved families and to save lives in the future. So the Always There campaign is basically SANS has always been there walking with bereaved parents for more than 40 years, which is an amazing thing. They work in conjunction with the NHS to provide empathetic bereavement care and campaigning to save babies' lives. You can join the campaign to improve maternity care for all of those women, and you can add the name to help. You can use the social banner Always There campaign, and resources can be found at the bottom of this page. You can also donate to the Always There appeal to help SANS, which you can make a gift aid donation as well, so that you can raise more awareness. So yeah, the charity itself, I'm going to come off there. So everything I've shown you this evening is to help raise funds for SANS. SANS is a stillbirth and neonatal death charity, and I'm walking 100K this month. I've already walked 9 miles today. I'm trying to raise awareness and support, and we are raising awareness for this. This is the SANS 1K Charity Walk 2021. You can find more information on my Facebook fundraiser page, or you can find information on my Twitter or my Instagram. And I'm trying to raise funds to help the charity. Currently, I've raised £25, I believe, out of the 50 I was hoping for, and I thought I would live stream to raise awareness. Obviously, I'm wearing my SANS top. This is obviously this is obviously their logo. So you have the little baby, you have the SANS, and then you have the back bit, which says about supporting babies' lives. Obviously, I've never lost a child myself, but I do know people that have lost a child. And every day is an upward struggle, whether it's hearing stories from other people or hearing a baby's cry. Just the smallest little thing can turn a day into another one of those days. Good evening, like in theory. So, like I said, I'm trying to raise awareness, trying to raise funds, trying to help, raise awareness. And it doesn't seem to have gone well. For someone to put 5 dislikes on a charity live stream for a stillbirth and neonatal charity, you have to be fairly narrow-minded. But I'm trying. The least I can say is I tried to raise awareness. I thought YouTube would be the platform to raise awareness, and with the support that my channel has or had, supposedly, I thought this would help. I'm going to live stream for a while, but like I said, the website's really handy. It gives you loads of tips, loads of information. There is tons of help out there for parents of bereaved children. You don't have to be alone, which is the main thing. You don't have to suffer and be alone. You can talk to people, you can share experiences. You don't have to feel like it's such a taboo subject, because the people with this charity know what the pain is, they know what the issues are, they know how you're feeling. They obviously can sympathize with you and not know what you're going through. Every parent's loss is different, and every parent will experience the situation in a different way. But yeah. So hopefully this information will help, whether you've lost a child or not, so that you can bereave together, I guess is what I'm saying. I don't know. It's a tricky situation. Like I said, I've not lost a child myself, but I know people that have, and I know what they've gone through and how each day is an upward struggle. And obviously, I'm walking 62 miles this month for Sands. Obviously, it's the 100K walk or 62 miles, which doesn't sound like a lot. Over the course of a month, it's about 2 miles per day. And today already, I have walked, I believe it's 9 miles. I've done 21,406 steps today alone. And I've walked 9 miles as of right now in the evening, where it is 9 o'clock. So by the end of today, I would have done 9 miles out of my 62, which is a great amount for a start. Obviously, it's 62 miles over the course of the entirety of June, so I don't have to feel like I have to do it all in one day. But with the UK and the rain that we've been having, I thought if I did a big walk each week and then did little walks over the week, that way I would manage the 62K, 62 miles, 100K, even if the monsoon that we've had the last month came back. So I guess that's all the information I can give you. That's everything that I've read about over the last week that I wanted to share with you. I don't know what else to say. It's a really hard subject. But yeah, so if you can donate just as little as £1 or $1, whichever it is where you are, the link for the Sands charity fundraiser is in the description. You have the link to the Facebook Pay if you wish to donate through that, or if you wish to donate through PayPal, you can donate through PayPal. I can put your name onto the Sands donation wall, which is on my fundraiser, and I can send the money to Sands for you. And then you'll get a thank you from me for every donation, and it will go on my wall on my fundraising page, which you can check out, and you can see your donation once I've sent it over with a name, whether you want to remain anonymous or not. But I'm trying to raise awareness, trying to spread the word, I guess you could say. For a charity that's close to my heart for reasons I can't tell you. They're private, but a loss of a child is a horrible thing, and it's something that you never forget. But hopefully all this information will help parents out there, and all the money donated will help research and fund and bring awareness to this charity. Like I said, they've been going for 40 years, but babies die every day. And it's a statistic that we would love to have lowered so that no parents have to go through the loss of a child. But with more and more research, hopefully comes more and more answers. And hopefully things like this can be avoided. Or we can lessen the chance of it happening, or we can find out why things happen. Obviously, things like infant cot death, there is no explanation for it, and more research does need to be done. And obviously, during pregnancy, there can be a number of complications for a number of reasons, whether it's outside influence or inside influence, whether it's in neonatal, whether it's in utero, whether it's post-pregnancy. There are problems that arise, and hopefully with more research, the chances of these things happening can be lessened. Like they said, they'd lessened 20% of deaths with more and more research. Hopefully we can raise awareness, raise funds, and try and stop things like this happening and lessen the chance of a mother and father having to suffer the loss of a child. Hopefully everything I've given you can help. Yeah. I'm not really sure what else to say. I was kind of hoping that people were going to turn up, but I guess maybe it is a taboo subject to talk about. Maybe it isn't everyone's thing. Not everybody wants to talk about that kind of thing. Hopefully my video will help in some way. Yeah, once again, Sans 100K. Today was really hot. I mean, my arms are somewhat hurting. You can see I definitely got sunburn and need sun cream for my next walk. 100% need sun cream. People should tell you not to go out in 25-degree heat without sunburn, and there was no one here to tell me, so there is that. But yeah, the Sans 100K Charity Walk 2021, I have 30 days or 31 days to walk 62 miles. Sounds easy, but after walking 9 miles today, my feet hurt. Especially my ankles. I was walking on the road. I was walking on the grass verges. So it wasn't like flat ground, and I think maybe my ankles have suffered just slightly. And also, I have sunburn. My face didn't get too badly sunburned. It feels a little warm, but I think that's mostly on my nose because obviously my hat didn't cover the end of my nose, so I got sunburn. I do look a bit red and flushed, so maybe a little bit of tinge on my face. Should have had sun cream. Rule 101: when you go out for a walk in really high heat, wear sun cream. Should have thought of that, but I didn't. I was more interested in the walk. If you want to see the video for that, will be in the link in the description. I went for a walk from Swaffham to South Pickering and back again. It was a really nice walk. We saw some pigs, a field of pigs. We went to the All Saints Church in South Pickenham, and we went for a small walk around their graveyard, and we saw their what was it? The octagonal belfry tower, which I never knew existed. That kind of thing. It's a long tower. You'll have to watch the video to find out more. But I do show you the sights of South Pickenham. I do show you the pigs, which are so cute, rolling around in mud. So if you like pigs rolling around in mud and churches, it was a brilliant walk. Aside from the searing heat, it was a beautiful day. And it's the best start I could have hoped for the walk, aside from it raining. And it's been raining in the last month, so there were fingers crossed that June was going to be sunny for my walks. But in the UK, you can have sunny one day and thunderstorms and rain the next. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed for some sun, hopefully. But maybe not as hot. Maybe sort of around 15, 16 degrees would do me. 25 is a bit much. Yeah, this is the board I got especially for the Sands charity. The board itself, I got from poundshop.com, and the letters came with it, and then I just put this on. They are basically just, it's a fabric board, and I just put the letters on and made this up. So you can find out more information about the fundraiser on my Instagram, on my Twitter, and on my Facebook fundraiser page. The link is in the description and also in the chat comments. If you'd like to donate, you can donate by Facebook Pay or by PayPal. Both will end up going to the charity. Facebook Pay goes directly to Sands, and if you pay by PayPal, I pay it to Sands on your behalf by using the Facebook Pay link that I then send it to. So all your money goes directly to the charity. There is no in-betweeners. It goes straight to the charity so that you receive 100% of your donation, which is brilliant. But yeah, I feel that this charity needs the support. And like I said, they are helping bereaved mothers, fathers, siblings, grandparents, to come to loss with the terms of a child, and it is a really important charity to put money towards, in my eyes. And hopefully you guys will feel the same that support my channel. The loss of a child is something that no parent should ever have to go through. If you'd like to donate, like I said, links will be in the description. They are in every video I make. They will be in every video throughout the entire month as I update you each day on my walks. You can also go to my fundraiser page where you will see pictures of my walks, small little clips and videos, updates on how much I have walked, so you can keep up to date. And if you're on my Instagram, you will see updates on my Walk of June calendar, where I'm going to put all the miles I did, where I'm going, what I've done, and hopefully by the end of the month I will have walked 62 miles or 100k for the Sands charity, and have raised awareness, raised money for a good cause. But yeah, if you'd like to help out, remember you can do the walk yourself. And get one of these lovely t-shirts, which you get for free. The t-shirts are free when you sign up. You can buy multiple t-shirts. They do have a store where you can buy children's t-shirts, multiple t-shirts for adults. I believe you can even get a t-shirt for your dog. So if you do your walks with your pet, you can also put the little coat on him as well, and you can also get multiple t-shirts if you, your husband, your friends, your family are all joining in a big walk. Or if you're like myself, I just got one for signing up, but then you can buy other t-shirts, and I believe they're £5 each. You do get one with your fundraising pack, and if you want to see the video where I opened my fundraising pack, the video is in my Sans playlist, where I show you the pack that I got with the letter. You get a fridge magnet, you get your t-shirts, you get your wall chart for your walks, so that you can keep up to date. You can wear your t-shirt wherever you go, you know, out and about, and whatever you do. So there is that. One second. So if you want to support the charity and you can't donate right now, that is perfectly fine. You have up until the 14th of July to donate. The walk finishes on the 31st, and then you have up till the 14th to donate, and then the fundraiser will close. So as little as £1 can help. All those pennies add up, and they help with the research and funding of the charity, so they continue to do the good work that they do and help bereaved parents through this troubling time. So there's the sign once again. 100k or 62 miles is what I've been told it works out as. So right, well, I would like to thank everyone that turned up, Gemma and Lycan, and no one else apparently, and I don't know why. And obviously, thank you to the people who will not be mentioned, who came to the stream, and for some reason won't leave me alone. But yeah, if you'd like to donate, remember a little as £1 helps. If you'd like to show more support by doing the walk yourself, or giving this video to someone that has had a bereavement and they need some advice, please feel free to share my video wherever it's needed. Hopefully we can raise awareness and money for a good cause. Thank you to everyone that has come. I'm sorry that it's such a taboo subject, but I think it needed a live stream to raise the awareness. And I hope you have all a good evening. Thank you to everyone that came. Thank you to everyone that will watch this video, hopefully on a replay. Please share this out and give people the advice they need. Sometimes it's the little things that help. And I will see you all very soon. Take care and thanks for watching. Good night.